Research in the product design. Wait, why do you even need to do research where design is involved? We'll uncover all of your questions in this video. Let's get started. Hello, my name is Darshan Suthar. I'm a co-founder and a CDO of Versatile. In this video, we'll discuss about why research is conducted in product design companies and why it is so important in the product design process as well, right? So in the product design, there is a type of a research that requires to do to understand users' need, users' behavior, which type of data are there in background, right? So all those kind of things to understand, product-based companies have a certain processes to conduct different types of a research. So there are majorly two types of research. One is the primary research, one is the secondary research. In the primary research, there are four types. One is the user interviews, second is the user groups, third is the contextual inquiries, and fourth is the diary study. In the user interviews, basically you are connecting with the user one-on-one, right? So in that case, you can understand user better. You can directly communicate your ideas, your question, your queries, and something, the different behavior even you want to understand, you can ask why you have done things this way, why you are not doing this way, or what you are understanding by reading this, right? Those kind of a detailed question you can understand user interviews, and users are feel comfortable to even answer your question very next to you. User interviews can be conducted in person or even on the remote as well, right? So by the remote I mean that you need to use few tools to get things done. Second is the user group, where you can have max up to 10 participants, right? So when you need to do such kind of a research where time is very short and you need to understand certain pattern, right? So you can ask your user to come into the research and where you can give them certain exercise, right? To even understand the different type of things, where you can understand exact pattern that you wanted to catch, right? Whether it's working or not in your design process when you are thinking about the direction for the solution, right? Whether that will work or not. So those kind of things you can understand in the user group. Third is the contextual inquiry. In the contextual inquiry, before you are reaching out to the solution, you are not sure whether it will work or not, right? So where you can do basically connect with the users. So it is majorly you can say the user interviews, right? But this is done when you are reaching to something, but you are not that sure that whether it will work or not, right? So at that time you are basically conducting a contextual inquiry. Fourth is a diary study. This is a method majorly conducted when you want to understand day-to-day basis workflow of a user, right? If you want to understand day-to-day things happening in user's life, and if you want that user write it down in your diary, right? That can be done in some way, but that will be not intuitive as you are expecting, right? Secondary research is all about data, right? Whether you are checking existing data or even finding out older results or many other things that you can look at, right? This is very quick and cheap way to go about the research. Where time is short, you can definitely explore these as well. In the secondary research, there are a couple of ways you can understand the data, right? If you can understand something from the internet, that is also a good way to do the secondary research. If you can understand something from the company's database, that is also a good way. If you want to understand something about the user or even at the population level, right? You can understand something from the government statistics as well, right? Or let's consider, if you want to understand something interesting about a competitor, right? That can be considered as a secondary research. In short, getting something from the existing data is called a secondary research. But what can help you by researching in the internet in your design process? So let me give you some example, right? So there is one critical problem that comes up in the design process and you are not sure how to solve that, right? At that time, what you will do? As a designer, I'm sure you will go to Dribble, you can go to Behance and those kind of a different platform where you can get the inspiration, right? That is about internet research. Second, you can understand something from the company's database as well, right? So whatever the product you are working on, even let's say there is a website on it, you can understand something from the user's flow. So those kind of things considered as a secondary research where you are concerning about whether user is reaching to the checkout thing or not. That you can understand from the company's database, right? So that is a secondary research again. Let's say you are just working on some new idea and you are not sure whether it will work or not in the future, right? So what you want to understand, okay, tell me how many millennials in India have this much of a salary annually, right? So that data you can understand from the government data. right? So that is called as a secondary research only. So far you understand all of those data which are currently exist, and you just need to look at it and take a certain call, which all things can consider in the secondary research. So we had covered primary and the secondary research, where you are basically understanding a user or a behavior or taking a certain call from the data itself. So all those things considered into the research category. Research is a very crucial step in the design process. Without it, you can't even understand many things. And if you are not considering research very important, then you may going into the very wrong direction sometime. I am Darshan Suthar. I am making more videos on the design and process. If you want more, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.